The loss of innocence. Humans by nature are very sensitive beings. We are so emotional because we perceive everything with the emotional body. The emotional body is like a radio that can be tuned to perceive certain frequency to react to certain frequency. The normal frequency of humans before domestication is to explore and to enjoy life, and we are tuned to love. As children, we don't have any definition of love as an abstract concept, and we just love is the way we are. The emotional body has as a component like an alarm system to let us know when something is wrong. It is the same with the physical body. It has a pain, an alarm system to let us know something is wrong with our body. We call this pain. When we feel pain, it is because there is something wrong with the body that we have to look at and fix. The alarm system for the emotional body is fear. When we feel fear, it's because there is something wrong. Perhaps we are in danger of losing our life. The emotional body perceives emotion, but not through the eyes. We perceive emotion through our emotional body. Children just feel emotions and their reasoning mind does not interpret or questions them. This is why children accept certain people and reject other people. When they don't feel confident around someone, they reject that person because they can feel the emotions that person is projecting. Children can easily perceive when someone is angry, and their alarm system generates a little fear that says, stay away, and yet follow their instinct. They stay away. We learn to be emotional according to the emotional energy in our home and our personal reaction to that energy. That is why every brother and sister will react differently according to how they learn to defend themselves and adapt to different circumstances. When our parents are constantly fighting, when there is disharmony, disrespect, and lies, we learn the emotional way of being like them. Even if they tell us not to be that way and not to lie, the emotional energy of our parents and of our entire family will make us perceive the world in a similar way. The emotional energy that lives in our home is going to tune our emotional body to that frequency. The emotional body starts to change in its tune, and it is no longer the normal tune on the human being. We play the game of the adults, and we play the game of the outside dream, and we lose. We lose our innocence, we lose our freedom, we lose our happiness, we lose our tendency to love. We are forced to change, and we start perceiving another world, another reality, the reality of injustice, the reality of emotional pain, the reality of emotional poison. Welcome to hell, the hell that humans create, which is the dream of the planet. We are welcomed into that hell, but we don't invent it personally. It was here before we were born. You can see how real life and freedom are destroyed by looking at the children. Imagine a child 2 or 3 years old running and having fun in the park. Mom is there watching the little guy and she's afraid he might fall and hurt himself. At a certain point, she wants to stop him, and the child thinks mom is playing with him, so he tries to run faster from her. Cars are passing in the street nearby, which makes mom even more afraid, and finally she catches him. The child is expecting her to play, but she spanks him. Boom! It's a shock. The child's happiness was the expression of love coming out of him, and he does not understand why she is acting this way. This is a shock that stops the love little by little over time, and the child does not understand words. But even so, he can question why. Running and playing is an expression of love, but it's no longer safe because your parents punish you when you express your love. They send you to your room and you cannot do what you want to do, and they tell you that you are being a bad boy or a bad girl, and that puts you down. That means punishment. In that system of reward and punishment, there is a sense of injustice and justice, that what is fair and what is not fair. The sense of injustice is like a knife that opens an emotional wound in the mind. Then, according to our reaction to the injustice, the one may get infected with emotional poison. Why do some ones get infected? Let's look at another example. Imagine that you are 2 or 3 years old. You are happy, you are playing, you are exploring, you're not conscious of what's good, what is bad, what is right and what is wrong, what you shouldn't be doing, what shouldn't be doing, because you are not yet domesticated. You are playing in the living room with whatever is around you. You don't have any bad intention, you don't try to hurt anything, but you are playing with your daddy's guitar. For you, It's just a toy. You don't try to hurt your daddy at all. But your father is having one of those days when he does not feel right, he has a problem in his business, and he goes into the living room and finds you playing with his things. He gets mad right away and he grabs you and spanks you. This is injustice from your point of view. Your father just comes, and with anger he hurt you, and this was someone you trusted completely because he is your daddy, someone who usually protect you and allow you to play and allow you to be you, and now there is something that's not quite fit, and that sense of injustice is like a pain in your heart. You were sensitive. It hurts and makes you cry. But you cry not just because he spanks you. It's not the physical aggression that hurts you. It's the emotional aggression you feel is not fair. You didn't do anything. And that sense of injustice opens a wound in your mind. Your emotional body is wounded, and in that moment you lose a little part of your innocence. You learn that you cannot always trust your father, even if your mind does not know that yet. Because your mind does not analyze, it still understands. I cannot trust. Your emotional body tells you there is something that you cannot trust and that something can be repeated. Your reaction might be fear, your reaction might be anger or being shy or just crying, but that reaction is already emotional poison because the normal reaction before domestication is that your daddy spanks you and you want to hit him back and you hit him back or just intend to put your hand up and that makes your father even madder at you. The reaction of your father for just putting your hand up against him creates a worse punishment, and now you know he will destroy you, and now you are afraid of him, and you no longer defend yourself because you know it will only make things worse. You still don't understand why. But you know your father can even kill you. This happens a first one in your mind. Before this, your mind was completely healthy, you were completely innocent, and after digital reasoning, mind tries to do something with the experience. You learn to react in a certain way, your personal way, you keep that emotion with you, and it changes your way of life. This experience will repeat itself more often now, and the injustice will come from mom and dad, from brothers and sisters, from aunts and uncle, from school, from society, from everyone. With each affair, you learn to defend yourself. But not the way you did before domestication. When you would defend yourself and just keep playing. And now there is something inside that one that at first, it's not a big problem. Emotional poison. The emotional poison accumulates and the mind begins to play with that poison. Now we start to worry a little about the future because we have the memory of the poison and we don't want that to happen again. We also have memories of being accepted. We remember mom and dad being good to us and living in harmony. We want the harmony, but we don't know how to create it. And because we are inside the bubble of our own perception, whatever happens around us now seems as if it is because of us. We believe mom and dad fight because of us, even if it does not have anything to do with us. Little by little, we lose our innocence. We start to feel a resentment that we no longer forgive, and over time, this incident and interaction let us know it's not safe to be who we really are. Of course, this will vary in intensity with each human according to his intelligence and his education. It will depend on many things. If you are lucky, the domestication is not that strong. But if you are not so lucky, the domestication can be so strong and the ones so deep and that you can even be afraid to speak and the result is, oh, I am shy. Shyness is a fear of expressing yourself. You may believe you don't know how to dance or how to sing, but this is just perception, repression of the normal human instinct to express love. Humans use fear to domesticate humans, and our fear increases with each experience of injustice. The sense of injustice is the knife that opens a wound in our emotional body. Emotional poison is created by our reaction to what we consider injustice. Some wounds will heal, and others will become infected with more and more poisons. Once we are full of emotional poison, we have the need to release it, and we practice releasing the poison by sending it to someone else. How do we do this? By looking that person's attention. Let's take an example of an ordinary couple. For whatever reason, the wife is mad. She has a lot of emotional poison from an injustice that comes from her husband. The husband is not home, but she remembers that injustice and the poison is growing inside. When the husband comes home, the first thing she wants to do is hook his attention because once she hooks his attention, all the poison can go to her husband and she can feel the relief. As soon as she tells him how bad he is, how stupid or how unfair he is, that poison she has inside her is transferred to the husband. She keeps talking and talking until she gets his attention, and the husband finally reacts and gets mad, and she feels better. But now the poison is going through him, and he has to get even. He has to hook her attention and release the poison. But it's not just her poison, it's her poison plus his poison. If you look at this interaction, you will see that they are touching each other's wands and playing ping pong with emotional poison. The poison keeps growing and growing until someday one of them is going to explode. This is often how humans relate with each other. By hooking the attention, the energy goes from one person to another person. The attention is something very powerful in the human mind. Everyone around the world is hunting the attention of others all the time. When we capture the attention, we create channels of communication. The dream is transferred, power is transferred, but emotional poison is transferred also. Usually we release the poison with the person we think is responsible for the injustice. But if that person is so powerful that we cannot send it to him, we don't care who we send it to. We send it to the little ones who have no defense against us, and that is how abusive relationships are formed. The people of power abuse the people who have less power because they need to release their emotional poison. We have the need to release the poison, and sometimes we don't want justice, we just want to release. We want peace, and that is why humans are hunting power all the time, because the more powerful we are, the easier it is to release the poison to the ones we cannot defend themselves. Of course, we are talking about relationship in hell. We are talking about the mental disease that exists on this planet, and there is no one to blame for this disease. It's not good or bad or right or wrong. It is simply the normal pathology of this disease. No one is guilty for being abusive, just as people on that imaginary planet are not guilty because their skin is sick. You are not guilty because you have wounds infected with poison. When you are physically sick or injured, you don't blame yourself or feel guilty. Then why feel bad or feel guilty because your emotional body is sick? What is important is to have the awareness that we have this problem. If we have the awareness, we have the opportunity to heal our emotional body, our emotional mind, and stop the suffering. Without the awareness, there is nothing we can do. The only thing we can do is to keep suffering from the interaction with the other humans, and but not just with the other humans, the interaction with our own self, because we also touch our own wounds just to be punished. In our mind, we create that part of us that is always judging. The judge is judging everything we do, everything we don't do, everything we feel, everything we don't feel. We are judging ourselves all the time, and we are judging everyone else all the time too, based on what we believe and based on the sense of justice and just injustice. Of course, we find ourselves guilty, we need to be punished, and the other part of our mind that receives the judgment and has the need to be punished is the victim. That part of us says, poor me, I'm not good enough, I'm not strong enough, I'm not intelligent enough, why should I try? When you were a child, you could not choose what to believe and what not to believe. The judge and the victim are based on all those false beliefs you didn't choose. When that information went into your mind, you were innocent. You believed everything. The belief system was put inside you like a program by the outside dream. The Toltec called this program the parasite. The human mind is sick because it has a parasite that steals its vital energy and robs it of joy. The parasite is all those beliefs that make you suffer. Those beliefs are so strong, and that year later, when you learn new concept and try to make your own decisions, you find these beliefs still control your life. Sometimes the little child inside you comes out, and the real you that stays at the age of 2 or 3 years old. You are living in the moment and having fun, but there is something pulling you back. Something inside feels unworthy or having too much fun. An inner voice tells you that your happiness is too good to be true. It is not right to be happy. All the guilt, all the blame, all the emotional poison in your emotional body keeps pulling you back into the world of the drama. The parasite spreads like a disease from our grandparents to our parents to ourselves, and then we give it to our own children. We put all this program inside our children the same way we train the dog, and humans are domesticated animals, and this domestication leads us into the dream of hell where we live in fear. The food for parasite is the emotion that comes from fear. Before we get the parasite, we enjoy life, we play, we are happy like a little children. But after all that garbage is put into our minds, we are no longer happy, we want to be right and make everyone else wrong. The need to be right is the result of trying to protect the image we want to project to the outside. Do we have to impose our way of thinking, not just onto other humans, but even upon ourselves? With awareness, we can easily understand why relationships do not work with our parents, with our children, with our friends, with our partner, and even with ourselves. Why does the relationship with ourselves work? Because we are wounded and we have all that emotional poison that we can hardly handle. We all full of poison because we grew up in the image of perfection that is not true, which does not exist, and in our mind it is not fair. We have seen how we create that image of perfection to please other people, even though they create their own dream that has nothing to do with us. We try to please mom and dad, and we try to please our teacher, our minister, our religion, and God, but the truth is that from their point of view, we are never going to be perfect. That image of perfection tells us how we should be in order to acknowledge that we are good, in order to accept ourselves. But guess what? This is the biggest lie we believe about ourselves because we are never going to be perfect. And there is no way that we can forgive ourselves for not being perfect. That image of perfection change the way we dream. We learn to deny ourselves and reject ourselves. We are never good enough, or right enough, or clean enough, or healthy enough according to all those beliefs we have. There's always something to judge we can never accept or forgive. That is why we reject our own humanity, and that is why we never deserve to be happy, and that is why we are searching for someone who abuses us, someone who will punish us. We have a very high level of self-abuse because of that image of perfection. When we reject ourselves and judge ourselves, we find ourselves guilty and punish ourselves so much it looks like there is no love. It looks like there is no only punishment, only suffering, only judgment in this world. Hell has many different levels, and some people are very deep in hell, and other people are hardly in hell, but still they are in hell. They are very abusive relationship in hell and relationship with hardly any abuse. You are no longer a child. If you have an abusive relationship, it's because you accept that abuse, because you believe you deserve it. You have a limit to the amount of abuse you will accept, but no one in the whole world abuses you more than you abuse yourself. The limit of your self-abuse is your limit you will tolerate from other people. If someone abuses you from then you abuse yourself, you walk away, you run, you escape. But if someone abuses you a little less than you abuse yourself, perhaps you stay longer. You still deserve that abuse. And usually in a normal relationship in the hell, it's about the payment for an injustice. It's about getting even. I abuse you the way you need to be abused, and you abuse me the way I need to be abused. We have a good equilibrium. It works, of course. Energy attracts the same kind of energy, the same vibration. If someone comes to you and says, "Oh, I'm so abused," and you ask, "Well, why do you stay there?" He does not even know why. The truth is he needs that abuse because that is the way he punishes himself. Life brings to you exactly what you need, and there is perfect justice in hell. There is nothing to blame. We can even say that our suffering is a gift. If you just open your eyes and see what is around you, it's exactly what you need to clean your poison, to heal your wounds, to accept yourself, and to get out of your hell. The man who didn't believe in love. I want to tell you a very old story about the man who didn't believe in love. This was an ordinary man just like you and me, and but what made this man special was his way of thinking. He thought love does not exist. Of course, he had a lot of experience trying to find love, and he had observed the people around him. Much of his life had been spent searching for love and only to find out love didn't exist. Wherever this man went, he used to tell people that love is nothing but an invention of the poets, an invention of religions, just to manipulate the weak mind of humans, to have control over humans, to make them believe, he said, that love is not real, and that's why no human could ever find love, even though he might look for it. This man was highly intelligent and he was very convincing. He read a lot of books, he went to the best universities, and he becomes a respected scholar. He could stand in any public place in front of any kind of people, and his logic was very strong. What he said was that love is just like a drug. It makes you very high, but it creates a strong need. You can become highly addicted to love, but what happens when you don't receive your daily doses of love? Just like a drug, you need your everyday doses. He used to say that most relationships between lovers are just like a relationship between a drug addict and the one who provides the drugs. The one who has the biggest need is like the drug addict, and the one who has a little need is like the provider. The one who has a little need is the one who controls the whole relationship. You can see this dynamic so clearly because usually in every relationship there is one who loves the most and the other who does not love, who only takes advantage of the one who gives his or her heart. You can see the way they manipulate each other, their actions and reaction, and they are just like the provider and the drug addict. The drug addict, the one who has the biggest need, lives in constant fear that perhaps he will not be able to get the next dosage of love. Or the drug addict's thing. What am I going to do if he leaves me? That fear makes the drug addict very possessive. That's mine. The addict becomes jealous and demanding because the fear of not having the next dosage. The provider can control and manipulate the one who needs the drug by giving more doses, fewer doses or no doses at all. The one who has the biggest need completely surrender and will do whatever he can to avoid being abandoned. The man went on explaining to everyone why love does not exist. What human calls love is nothing but the fear relationship based on control. Where is the respect? Where is the love they claim to have? There is no love. Young couples in front of the representation of God, in front of their family and friends, make a lot of promises to each other to live together forever, to love and respect each other, to be there for each other through the good times and bad times. They promise to love and honor each other and make promise and more promises. What is amazing is that they really believe these promises, but after the marriage, 1 week later, a month later, a few months later, you can see that none of these promises are kept, and what you find is a war of control to see who will manipulate whom, who will be the provider, who will have the addiction. You find that a few months later, the respect they swear to have for each other is gone. You can see the resentment, the emotional poison, how they hurt each other little by little, and it grows and grows until they don't know when the love stops. They stop together because they are afraid to be alone, afraid of the opinions and judgment of others, and also afraid of their own judgments and opinions. But where is the love? He used to claim that he saw many old couples that had lived together 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, and they were so proud to have lived together all those years. But when they talked about the relationship, what they said was, "We survived the matrimony." That means one of them surrendered to the other at a certain time. She gave up and decided to endure the suffering. The one with the strongest will and last need won the war, but where is that flame they call love? They treat each other like a possession. She is mine, he is mine. The man went on and on about all the reasons why he believed love does not exist. He told the others, "I have done all that already. I will no longer allow anyone to manipulate my mind and control my life in the name of love." His arguments were quite logical, and he convinced many people by all his words. Love does not exist. Then one day, this man was walking in the park, and there on the bench was a beautiful lady who was crying. When he saw her crying, he felt curiosity. Sitting beside her, he asked if he could help her. He asked why she was crying. You can imagine his surprise when she told him she was crying because love does not exist, he said. This is amazing! A woman who believed that love does not exist. Of course, he wanted to know more about her. Why do you say that love does not exist? He asked. Well, it's a long story, she replied. I married when I was very young, with all the love, all the illusion, full of hope that I would share my life with this man. We swore to each other our loyalty, respect, and honor, and we created a family. But soon everything changed. I was the devoted wife who took care of the children in the home. My husband continued to develop his career and his success and image outside of home was more important to him than our family. He lost respect for me and I lost respect for him. We hurt each other, and at a certain point, I discovered that I didn't love him and he didn't love me either. But the children needed a father, and that was my excuse to stay and to do whatever I could to support him. And now the children are gone and they have left, and I no longer have any excuse to stay with him, and there is no respect, there is no kindness. I know that even if I find someone else, it's going to be the same because love does not exist. There is no sense to look around for something that does not exist, and that's why I'm crying. Understanding her very well, he embraced her and said, You are right, love does not exist. We look for love, we open our heart, and we become vulnerable just to find selfishness that hurts us even if we don't think we will be hurt. It doesn't matter how many relationships we have, the same thing happens again and again. Why even search for love any longer? They were so much alike, and they became the best friends ever. It was a wonderful relationship. They respected each other, they never put each other down. With every step they took together, they were happy. There was no envy or jealousy, there was no control, there was no possessiveness. The relationship kept growing and growing, the love to be together, because when they were together, they had a love of fun. When they were not together, they missed each other. One day, when the man was out of town, he had the weirdest idea. He was thinking, maybe what I felt for her is love. But this is so different from what I have ever felt before. It's not what the poets say it is. It's not what the religion says. Because I'm not responsible for her and I don't take anything from her. I don't have the need for her to take care of me, and I don't need to blame for her for my difficulties or to take my dramas to her, and we have the best time together. We enjoy each other. I respect the way we see things, the way she feels. It doesn't impress me, it doesn't bother me at all. I don't feel jealous when she is with other people, and I don't feel envy when she is successful. Perhaps love does not exist, but it's not what everyone thinks love is. He could hardly wait to go back home and talk to her, to let her know what about his word idea. As soon as he started talking, she said, I know exactly what you are talking about. I had the same idea long ago. But I didn't want to share it with you because I know you don't believe in love. Perhaps love does exist, but it's not what we thought it was. They decided to become lovers and to live together, and it was amazing that things didn't change. They still respected each other. They were still supportive of each other, and the love grew more and more. Even the simplest thing made their hearts sing with love because they were so happy. The man's heart was so full with all the love he felt that one night a great miracle happened, and he was looking at the stars and he found the most beautiful one, and the star was so big and that the star started coming down from the sky. Soon that star was in his hand, and then a second miracle happened and his soul merged with that star. He was intensely happy. He could hardly wait to go to the woman and put that star in her hands to prove his love to her. As soon as he put the star in her hands, she felt a moment of doubt. This love was overwhelming, and in that moment, the star fell from her hands and broke into a million little pieces. Now there was an old man walking around to the world swearing that love does not exist, and there is a beautiful old woman at home waiting for a man, shedding a tear for a paradise that once she had in her hands. But for one moment of doubt, so let it go. This is the story about the man who didn't believe in love. Who made these mistakes? Do you want to guess what went wrong? The mistake was on the man's part in thinking he could give the woman his happiness. The star was his happiness, and his mistake was to put his happiness in her hand. Happiness never comes from outside of us. He was happy because of the love coming out of him. She was happy because of the love coming out of her. But as soon as he made her responsible for his happiness, she broke the star because she could not be responsible for his happiness. No matter how much the woman loved him, she could never make him happy because she could never know what he had in his mind. She could never know what his expectations were because she could not know his dreams. If you take your happiness and put it in someone's hands, sooner or later he is going to break it. If you give your happiness to someone else, you can always take it away. If happiness can only come from inside of you and is just the result of your love, you are responsible for your happiness. We can never make anyone responsible for our own happiness. But when we go to the church to get married, the first thing we do is exchange ring. We put our star in each other's hand, expecting that she is going to make you happy and you are going to make her happy. It doesn't matter how much you love someone, you are never going to be what that person wants you to be. That is the mistake most of us make right from the beginning. We base our happiness on our partner, and it doesn't work that way. We make all these promises that we cannot keep, and we set ourselves up to fail. The trick of love, the trick of fear. Your whole life is nothing but a dream. You live in a fantasy where everything you know about yourself is only true for you. Your truth is not the truth for anyone else, and that includes your own children or your own parents. Just consider what you believe about yourself and what your mother believes about you. She can say she knows you very well, but she has no idea who you really are. You know that she does not. You can believe that you know your mother very well, but you don't have any idea who she really is, and she has all those fantasies in her mind that she never shares with anyone else. You have no idea what is inside her mind. If you look at your own life and try to remember what you did when you were 11 or 12 years old, you will hardly remember more than 5% of your life. Of course, you will remember the most important thing, you like your own name, because you repeat this all the time, but sometimes you forget the name of your own children, of your friends, and that's because your life is made by dreams. Many little dreams that are changing all the time. Dreams have a tendency to dissolve, and that is why we forget too easily. So easily, yeah. Every human being is a personal dream of life, and that dream is completely different from anyone else's dream. We dream according to all that belief that we have, and we modify our dream according to the way we judge, according to the way we are victimized. That is why dreams are never the same for any two people. In a relationship, we can pretend to be the same, to think the same, to feel the same, to dream the same, but there is no way that can happen. There are two dreams with two dreams. Every dreamer is going to dream in his own way, and that's why we need to accept the difference that exists between two dreamers. We need to respect each other's dream. We can have thousands of relationships at the same time, but every relationship is between two persons and no more than two. I have a relationship with each one of my friends, and it is just between two. I have a relationship with each one of my children, and each relationship is completely different from the others. According to the way the two people dream, they create the direction of the dream we call relationship. Every relationship we have with mom, with dad, with brothers, with sister, with friends is unique because we dream a small dream together. Every relationship becomes a living being made by the two dreamers. Just as your body is made by cells, your dreams are made by emotions. There are two main sources of this emotion. One is fear, and all the emotion that comes from fear. The other is love, and that all the emotion that come from love. We experience both emotion, but the one that predominates in every people is fear, and we can say that the normal kind of relationship in this world is based 95% on fear and 5% on love. Of course, this will change depending upon the people, but even if fear is 60% and love is 40%, still it is based on fear. In order to understand this emotion, we can describe certain characteristics about love and fear that I call the track of love and the track of fear. These two tracks are merely points of reference to see how we are living our life, and is sufficient for the logical mind to understand and to try to have some control of the choices we make. And let's look at some of the characteristics of love and fear. And love is an obligation. Fear is full of obligation. In the track of fear, whatever we do is because we have to do it, and we expect other people to do something because they have to do it. We have the obligation, and as soon we resist it. The more resistance we have, the more we suffer. Sooner or later we try to escape our obligation. On the other hand, love is no resistance. Whatever we do is because we want to do it. It becomes a pleasure. It's like a game, and we have fun with it. Love has no expectation. Fear is full of expectation. With fear, we do things because we expect that we have to, and we expect that others are going to do the same. That is why fear hurts and love does not hurt. We expect something, and if it does not happen, we feel hurt. It is not fair. We blame others for not fulfilling our expectation. When we love, we don't have expectation. We do it because we want to, and if other people do it or not, it's because they want to or not, and it's nothing personal. When we don't expect something to happen, if nothing happens, it's not important. We don't feel hurt because whatever happens is okay, and that's why hardly anything hurts us when we are in love. We are not expecting that our lover will do something, and we have no obligation. Love is based on respect. Fear does not respect anything, including itself. If I feel sorry for you, it means I don't respect you. You cannot make your own choices. When I have to make the choices for you, at that point I don't respect you. If I don't respect you, then I try to control you. And most of the time when we tell our children how to live their lives, it's because we don't respect them. We feel sorry for them, and we try to do for them what they should do for themselves. When I don't respect myself, I feel sorry for myself. I feel I'm not good enough to make it in this world. How do you know? When you don't respect yourself? When you say, poor me, I'm not strong enough, I'm not intelligent enough, I'm not beautiful enough, I cannot make it. Self-pity comes from disrespect. Love is ruthless. It doesn't feel sorry for anyone, but it does have compassion. Fear is full of pity. It feels sorry for everyone. You feel sorry for me when you don't respect me, when you don't think I'm strong enough to make it. On the other hand, love, respect. I love you. I know you can make it. I know you are strong enough, intelligent enough, good enough that you can make your own choices. I don't have to make your choices for you. You can make it. If you fall, I can give you my hand. I can help you to stand up. I can say, you can do it. Go ahead. That is a compassion, but it is not the same as of feeling sorry. Compassion comes from respect and from love. Feeling sorry comes from a lack of respect from fear. Love is completely responsible. Fear avoids responsibility, but this does not mean that it's not responsible. Trying to avoid responsibility is one of the biggest mistakes we make because every action has a consequence. Everything we think, everything we do has a consequence. If we think, make a choice, we have an outcome or a reaction. If we don't make a choice, we have an outcome or a reaction. We are going to experience the consequence of our action in one way or another. That is why every human is completely responsible for his action. Even if he does not want to be, other people can try to pay for your mistakes, but you will pay for your mistake anyway, and then you pay double when others try to be responsible for you. It only creates a bigger drama. Love is always kind, fear is always unkind, and with fear we are full of obligation, full of expectation, with no respect, avoiding responsibility and feeling sorry. How can we feel good when we are suffering from so much fear? We feel victimized by everything. We feel angry or sad or jealous or betrayed. Anger is nothing but fear with a mask. Sadness is a fear with a mask. Jealous is a fear with a mask. With all this emotion that come from fear and create suffering, we can only pretend to be kind. We are not kind of because we don't feel good. We are not happy. If you are in the track of love, you have no obligation, no expectation. You don't feel sorry for yourself or your partner. Everything is going well for you. And that's why The smile is always on your face. You are feeling good about yourself, and because you are happy, you are kind. Love is always kind, and that kindness makes you generous and opens all the doors. Love is generous. Fear is selfish. It is only about me. Selfishness all closes all the doors, and love is unconditional. Fear is full of condition. In the track of fear, I love you if you let me control you. If you are good to me, if you fit into the image I make for you, I create an image of the way you should be, and because you are not and never will be the image, I judge you because of that and find you guilty. Many times I even feel ashamed of you because you are not what I want you to be. If you don't fit that image I create, you embrace me. You annoy me. I have no patience at all with you, and I'm just pretending kindness in the track of love, and there is no if, there are no condition. I love you for no reason, with no justification. I love you the way you are, and you are free to be the way you are. If I don't like the way you are, then I would be better with be with someone who is the way I like her to be. We don't have the right to change anyone else, and no one else has the right to change us. If we are going to change, it is because we want to change, because we don't want to suffer any longer. Most people live their entire life in the track of fear, and they are in the relationship because they feel they have to be. They are in a relationship where they have all those expectations about their partner and about themselves, and all the drama and suffering is because we are using the channels of communication that existed before we were born. People judge and are victimized because they gossip about each other, they gossip with their friends, they gossip in the bar, they make the family members hate each other, they accumulate emotions, pollution, and they send it to their children. Look at your father, what he did to me. Don't be like your father. All men are like this. All women are like that. This is what we do with the people we love so much, with our own children, with our own friends, with our partners. In the track of fear, we have so many conditions, expectations, and obligations that we create a lot of rules just to protect ourselves against emotional pain. When the truth is that there shouldn't be any rules. These rules affect the quality of the channels in communication between us, because when we are afraid, we lie. If you have the expectation that I have to be a certain way, then I feel that obligation to be the way. The truth is I am not what you want me to be. And I'm honest and I am what I am. You are already hurt. You are mad. Then I lied to you because I'm afraid of your judgment. I'm afraid you are going to blame me, find me guilty, and punish me. And every time you remember, you punish me again and again and again for the same mistake. In the track of love, there is justice. If you make mistake, you pay only once for that mistake. If you truly love yourself, you learn from that mistake. In the track of fear, there is no justice. You make yourself pay 1,000 times for the same mistake. You make your partner or your friend pay 1,000 times for the same mistake, and this creates a sense of injustice and opens many emotional wounds. Then, of course, you set yourself up to fail. Humans have traumas for everything, even for something so simple and so little. We see these dreams, these traumas, and normal relationship in hell because couples are in the track of fear. In every relationship, there are two halves of that relationship. One half is you, and the other half is your son, your daughter, your father, your mother, your friends, and your partner. And those half you are only responsible for your half, and you are not responsible for the other half. It does not matter how close you think you are, how strongly you think you love. There is no way you can be responsible for what is inside another person's head, and you can never know what the person feels, what the person believes, and all the assumptions he makes. You don't know anything about that person, and that is the truth. But what do? We try to be responsible for the other half, and that's why relationship is hell are based on fear, drama, and the war of control. If we are in a war of control, it's because we have no respect. The truth is that we don't love. It is selfishness, not love. It's just to have the little things that make us feel good. When we have no respect, there is a war of control because each person feels responsible for the other, and I have to control you because I don't respect you. I have to be responsible for you because whatever happens to you is going to hurt me, and I want to avoid pain. Then if I see you If I see that you are not being responsible, I'm going to knock you all the time to try to make you be responsible. But responsible from a personal point of view, it doesn't mean that I am right. This is what happens when we come from the track of fear, because there is no respect. I act as true. You are not good enough or intelligent enough to see what is good or not good for you. I make the assumption that you are not strong enough to go into certain situation and take care of yourself. I have to take control and say, let me do it for you, or don't do that. I try to suppress your half of a relationship and take control of the whole thing. If I take control of our whole relationship, where is your part? It doesn't work. I repeat it again. If I take control of our whole relationship, where is your part? It does not work. With the other half, we can share, we can enjoy, we can create the most wonderful dream together. But the other half always has its own dream, its own will, and we can never control that dream no matter how hard we try. Then we have a choice. We create a conflict and a war of control, or we can become a
If you
playmate and a
are
team
playing
player,
tennis,
playmates and a
you
team
have a
players play
partner,
together, but
you are
not
a team,
against
and you
each
never go
other.
against each other. Never. Even if you both play tennis differently, you have the same goal, to have fun together, to play together, to be playmates. If you have a partner who wants to control your game and he says or she says, no, don't play like that, play like this. No, you are doing it wrong. You are not going to have fun anyway. Eventually, you won't want to play with that partner anymore, and instead of being a team, your partner wants to control how you play. And without the concept of a team, you are always going to have a conflict. If you see your partner see your romantic relationship as a team, everything will start to improve. In a relationship, as in a game, it's not about winning or losing. You are playing because you want to have fun. In the track of love, you are giving more than taking. And of course, you love yourself so much that you don't allow selfish people to take advantage of you. You are not going to revenge, but you are clear in your communication. You can say, I don't like it when you try to take advantage of me, when you disrespect me, when you are unkind to me, and I don't need someone to abuse me verbally, emotionally, physically. I don't need to hear you cursing all the time. It's not that I am better than you, it's because I love beauty. I love to laugh. I love to have fun. I love to love. It's not that I'm selfish. I just don't need to be a victim near me, and it doesn't mean that I don't love you, but I cannot take responsibility for your dream. If you are in a relationship with me, it will be so hard for your parasite because I will not react to your garbage at all. And this is not selfishness, this is self-love. Selfishness, control, and fear will break almost any relationship. Generosity, freedom, and love will create the most beautiful relationship and ongoing romance. To master a relationship is all about you. The first step is to become aware, to know that everyone dreams his own dream, and once you know this, you can be responsible for your half of the relationship, which is you. If you know that you are only responsible for half of the relationship, you can easily control your half. It's not up to us to control the other half. If we respect, we know that our partner, our friend, our son, or mother is completely responsible for his or her own half. If we respect the other half, there is always going to be peace in that relationship and there is no war. Next, if you know what is love and what is fear, you become aware of the way you communicate your dream to others. The quality of your communication depends upon the choices you make in each moment, whether you tune your emotional body to love or to fear. If you catch yourself in the track of fear, just by having the awareness, you can shift your attention into the track of love. Just by seeing where you are, just by changing your attention, everything around you will change. And finally, if you are aware that no one else can make you happy, and that happiness is the result of love coming out of you, and this becomes the greatest mastery of the Toltec, the mastery of love. We can talk about love and write 1,000 books about it, but love will be completely different for each of us because we have to experience love. Love is not about concept. Love is about action. Love in action can only produce happiness, and fear in action can only produce suffering. The only way to master love is to practice love. You don't need to justify your love. You don't need to explain your love. You just need to practice your love. Practice creates the masters. The perfect relationship. Imagine a perfect relationship. You are always intensely happy with your partner because you live with the perfect woman or man for you. And how would you describe your life with the person? Well, the way you relate with this person will be exactly the way you relate with a dog. A dog is a dog. It doesn't matter what you do, it's going to be a dog. And you're not going to change a dog for a cat, for a dog, for a horse. It is what it is. Just accepting this fact in your relationship with other humans is very important. You cannot change other people. You love them the way they are, or you don't. You accept them the way they are, or you don't. And to try to change them to fit what you want them to be is like trying to change a dog or for a cat or a cat for a horse. And that is a fact. They are what they are. You are what you are. And you dance or you don't dance. You need to be completely honest with yourself. To say what you want and see if you are willing to dance or not, you must understand this point because it is very important. When you truly understand, you are likely to see what is true about others and not just what you want to see. If you own a dog or a cat, think about how you relate to your pet. Let's consider your relationship with a dog, for example. The animal knows how to have a perfect relationship with you, and when your dog does something wrong, what do you do with your dog? A dog does not care what you do, it just loves you. It doesn't have any expectations. It's not that wonderful. But what about your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband, or your wife? They have so many expectations and they are changing all the time. The dog is responsible for its half of the relationship with you. One half of the relationship is completely normal, and the dog's half. When you come home, it barks at you, it wags its tail, it bounces because it is so happy to see you, it does its part very well, and you know, it is the perfect dog, and your part is almost perfect also. You handle your responsibility, you feed your dog, you take care of your dog, you play with your dog, you love your dog unconditionally, and you will do almost anything for your dog, and you do your part perfectly, and your dog does its part perfectly. Most people can easily imagine this kind of relationship with a dog, but why not with a woman or with a man? Do you know any woman or any man who is not perfect? The dog is a dog, and that is okay with you. You don't need to be responsible for your dog to make it to be dog, and the dog does not try to make you be a good human, a good master. Then why can't we allow a woman to be a woman or a man to be a man and love that human just the way he or she is without trying to change the person? Perhaps you are thinking, but what if I'm not with the right woman or the right man? That is a very important question. Of course, you have to choose the right woman or the right man. And what is the right woman and the right man? Someone who wants to go in the same direction as you do, someone who's compatible with your views and your values emotionally, physically, economically, and spiritually. How do you know if your partner is right for you? Let's imagine that you are a man and a woman is going to choose you. If there are 100 women looking for a man and each will look at you as a possibility, for how many of these women will be the right man? The answer is you don't know. That is why you need to explore and take the risk. But I can tell you that the right woman for you is the woman you love just the way she is. The woman you don't have to need to change at all, and that's the right woman for you. You are lucky if you find the right woman for you, and at the same time you are the right man for her. You are going to be the right man for her is if she loves you just the way you are and she doesn't want to change you and she doesn't have to be responsible for you. She can trust that you are going to be what you claim you are, what you project you are. She can be as honest as possible and project to you what she is, and she will not come to you pretending to be something that you later discover she is not. The one who loves you just the way you are, because if someone wants to change you, it means you are not what that person wants. Then why is he with you? Why is he with you? You know, it's easy to love your dog because your dog does not have opinions about you. The dog loves you unconditionally. And this is important. And if your partner loves you just the way you are, it's just like the dog loves you, and you can be yourself with your partner. You can be a man or you can be a woman. Just the way the dog can be a dog with you. When you meet a person, just after the hello, she starts sending you information right away, and she can hardly wait to share her dreams with you. She opens herself, even if she doesn't know she's doing it. It is so easy for you to see every person just the way she is. You don't need to lie to yourself. You can see what it is you are buying, and you either want it or you don't. But you cannot blame the other person for being a dog or a cat or a horse. If you want a dog, then why are you getting a cat? If you want a cat, why would you get a horse or a chicken? You know, the kind of men and women that you want. The one who makes your heart sing, the one who is aligned with the way you are, the one who loves just as you are. And why do you set yourself up something else? Why not get what you want? Why pretend to make someone fit what she is not? It doesn't mean you don't love her. It means you make a choice and say yes or no because you love yourself also. You make a choice and you are responsible for your choices. Then, if the choices are not working well, you do not blame yourself. You simply make another choices. But let's imagine that you get a dog and you love cats. You want your dog to behave like a cat, and you try to gentle the dog because its neighbor says meow. What are you doing with the dog? Get a cat. This is the only way to begin a great relationship. First, you have to know what you want, how you want it, and when you want it. You have to know exactly what the needs of your body are and what the needs of your mind are and what fits well with you. There are millions of men and women, and each one is unique, and some will make a good match for you and some won't make a good match at all, and you can't love everyone. But to deal with a person on an everyday basis, you will need someone more closely aligned to you, and that person does not need to be exactly like you. The two of you only need to be like a key in lock, a match that works. You need to be honest with yourself. Be honest and honest with everyone else. Project what you feel you really are and don't pretend to be what you are not. It's as if you are in a market, you are going to sell yourself and you are going to buy. In order to buy, you want to see the quality of what you are going to get. But in order to sell, you need to show others what you are. It is not about being better or worse than someone else. It's about being what you are. If you see what you want, why not take a risk? But if you see it is not what you want, you know, you are going to pay for it. Don't go around crying, my loves abused me, when it was so clear for you to see. Don't lie to yourself. Don't invent in people what is not there. This is a message. If you know what you want, you will find it is like your relationship with your dog, but better. See what is in front of you. Don't be blind to pretend to see what is not there. Don't deny what you see just to get the merchandise when that merchandise will not fit your needs. When you buy something you don't need, it ends up in the garage. It's the same in a relationship, of course. It can take years for us to learn this painful lesson. But this is a good beginning. If you make a good beginning, the rest is going to be easier because you can be yourself. Perhaps you already have a certain amount of time invested in a relationship. If you choose to keep going, you can still have a new beginning by accepting and loving your partner just as he is. But first, you will need to take a step back. You have to accept yourself and love yourself just the way you are. Only believing and accepting yourself the way you are can only truly be and express what you are. You are what you are, and that is all you are. You don't need to pretend to be something else. When you pretend to be what you are not, you are always going to fail. Once you accept yourself just the way you are, the next step is to accept your partner. If you decide to be with a person, don't try to change anything about her. Just like your dog or your cat, let her be who she is. She has the right to be who she is, and she has the right to be free. When you inhibit your partner's freedom, you inhibit your own because you have to be there to see what your partner is doing or not doing. And if you love yourself so much, you are never going to give up your personal freedom. Can you see the possibilities our relationship offers? Explore the possibilities. Be yourself. Find a person who matches with you. Take the risk, but be honest. If it works, keep going. If it doesn't work, then do something else for yourself and your partner for a favor. Walk away, let her go. Don't be selfish. Give your partner the opportunity to find what she really wants. At the same time, give yourself the opportunity. If it's not going to work, it's better to look in a different direction. If you cannot love your partner the way she is, someone else can love her just as she is, and don't waste your time. You don't waste your partner's time. This is perfect. If you are the provider and your partner is the dick, and this is not what you want, perhaps you would be happier with someone else. But if you decide to be in the relationship, do your best. Do your best because you are the one who is going to reap the reward. If you can love your partner the way she is, if you can open your heart completely to your partner, you can reach heaven through your love. If you already have the cat and you want a dog, what can you do? You can start practicing from this point forward. You have to aim for a new beginning by cutting your ties with the past and starting all over again, and you don't have to have attachment to the past. All of us can change, and it can be for better. This is a new beginning for you to forgive whatever happened between you and your partner, and let it go because it was nothing personal important personal important, and it was nothing but misunderstanding. It was nothing but someone being hard and trying to get even. It's not worth whatever happened in the past. Is the possibility that you can reach heaven in a relationship. Have the courage to go for it 100% or let it go. Let go of the past and begin every day at higher level of love. This will keep the fire alive and make your love grow even more. Of course, you need to look at what it means to have a good moment and the bad moments. If being emotionally or physically abused is a bad moment, I don't know if a couple should keep going. If a bad moment is that someone loses her job, something is wrong at work, or someone has an accident, that is not the kind of bad moment. If the bad moments come from fear, if they come from a lack of respect, humiliation, or hatred, I don't know how many bad moments a couple can survive. In the relationship with your dog, you can have a bad moment for whatever reason it happens. An accident, a bad day at work, or whatever. You get home and the dog is barking at you, tail wagging, looking for your attention. You don't feel like playing with the dog. But the dog is there, and the dog will not feel hurt that you don't want to play because it doesn't take it personally. Once your dog celebrates your arrival and finds you don't want to play, the dog goes and plays it by itself. The dog does not stay there and insist that you be happy. And sometimes you can feel more support from your dog than from a partner who wants to make you happy. If you don't feel like being happy and you only want to be quiet, it's nothing personal. It has nothing to do with your partner. Perhaps you have a problem and you need to be quiet, but that silence can cause your partner to make a lot of assumptions. What did I do now? It's because of me. It has nothing to do with your partner. It's nothing personal. Laugh alone and the tension will go away and you will return to happiness. That is why the key in the lock has to be a match. Because if one of you has a bad moment or an emotional crisis, your agreement is to allow each other to be what you are, and then the relationship is another story. It's another way of being, and the whole thing can be very beautiful. Relationship is an art. The dream that to create is more difficult to master than one. And to keep the two of you happy, you have to keep your house perfect. You are responsible for your half, and your half has a certain amount of garbage, and your garbage is your garbage. The one who has to deal with that garbage is you, not your partner. If your partner tries to clean your garbage, he is going to end up with a broken nose. We have to learn not to put our nose where no one wants it. And it's the same with your partner's half. Your partner has a certain amount of their garbage. No, your partner has a garbage. You allow her to deal with her own garbage. You are going to love her and accept her with all of her garbage. You are going to respect her garbage, and you are not in a relationship to clean your partner garbage. She is going to clean her own. Even if your partner asks for your help, you have the choice to say no. Saying no does not mean you don't love or accept your partner. It means you are not be able to, or you don't want to play the game. For example, if your partner gets angry, you can say, you have the right to be mad, but I don't have to be mad because you are mad. I didn't do anything to cause your anger. You don't have to accept your partner's anger at all, but you can allow her to be angry, and there is no need to argue. Just allow her to be what she is, allow her to heal without intervening, and you can also agree not to interfere with your own healing process. Let's say that you are a man and you are happy, and for whatever reason your partner cannot be happy. She has personal problem. She's dealing with her garbage and she is unhappy. Because you love her, you will support her, but supporting her doesn't mean you are going to be unhappy because she is unhappy. This is not support at all. If she is unhappy and you get unhappy, both of you sing. If you are happy, your happiness can bring her happiness back. In the same way, you are don't and she is happy. Her happiness is your support. For your own sake, let her be happy. Don't even try to take her happiness away. Whatever happens in your work, don't come home and throw your poison at her. Be silent and let her know it's nothing personal. You are just dealing with yourself. You can say, keep being happy, keep playing, and I will join with you with when I can enjoy your happiness right now. I need to be alone. If you understand the concept of the wounded mind, you will understand the reason why romantic relationships are so difficult. The emotional body is sick and it has wounds, it has poison. If you are not aware that we are sick or that our partner is sick, we become selfish. The wound's hard, and we have to protect our wounds, even from the one we love. But if we have the awareness, we can have different agreements. When we are aware that our partner has emotional wounds and we love our partner, we certainly don't want to touch her wounds. We don't want to push her to heal her wounds, and we don't want her to push us to heal our wounds. Take the risk and take the responsibility to make a new agreement with your partner. Not an agreement that you read in a book, but an agreement that works for you. If it does not work, change that agreement and create a new one. Use your imagination to explore new possibilities, to create new agreements based on respect and love. Communication through respect and love is the whole key to keeping the love alive and never getting bored in your relationship. It's about finding your voice and stating your needs. It's about trusting yourself and trusting your partner. What you are going to share with your partner is not the garbage, but your love, your romance, your understanding. The goal is for the two of you to be happier and happier, and that calls for more and more love. You are the perfect man or woman, and your partner is the perfect human too. And just as the dog is the perfect dog, if you treat your partner with love and respect, who is going to get the benefit? No one else but you. Heal your half, and you are going to be happy. If you can heal that part of you, then you are going to be ready for a relationship without fear, without need. But remember, you can only heal your half. If you are in a relationship and you work with your half, your partner works with the other half. You will see how quickly progress is made. Love is what makes you happy, and if you become the servant of love, your partner becomes a servant of love too, and you can just imagine all the possibilities. The day will come when you can be with your partner with no guilt and no blame, no anger and no sadness. That day will be wonderful when you can be completely open, only to share, only to serve, only to give your love. Once you decide to be a couple, you are there to serve the one you love, the one you choose, and you are there to serve your love to your lover, to each other's servant. In every kiss, in every touch, you feel you are each there to please the one you love without expecting anything back. More than sex, it's about being together. The sex becomes wonderful also, but it's completely different. Sex becomes a communion. Sex becomes a complete surrendering, a dance, an art, a supreme expression of beauty, and you can make an agreement that says, I like you. You are wonderful and you make me feel so good. I will bring the flowers. You bring the soft music. We will dance and we will both go to the clothes. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. It's romantic. It's no longer a war of control. It's about service. But you can only do that when the love you have for yourself is very strong. The magical kitchen. Imagine that you have a magical kitchen in your home. In that magical kitchen, you can have any food you want from any place in the world in any quantity. You never worry about what to eat, whatever you wish for, you can have at your table. You are very generous with your food and you give your food unconditionally to others, not because you want something in return from them. Whoever comes to your home, you feed just for the pleasure of sharing your food, and your house is always full of people who come to eat and food from your magical kitchen. Then one day, someone knocks at your door and it's a person with a pizza. You open the door and the person looks at you and says, "Hey, do you see this pizza? I will give you this pizza if you let me control your life. If you just do whatever I want you to do, you are never going to starve because I can bring pizza every day and you just have to be good to me." Can you imagine your reaction? In your kitchen you can have the same pizza, even better, and yet this person comes to you and offers you food if you just do whatever he wants you to do. You are going to laugh and say, "No, thank you. I don't need your food. I have plenty of food. You can come into my house and eat whatever you want and you don't have to do anything. Don't believe I'm going to do whatever you want me to do and no one will manipulate me with food." Now, imagine exactly the opposite. Several weeks have gone by and you haven't eaten. You are starving and you have no money in your pocket to buy food. And the person comes with a pizza and says, "Hey, there is food here. You can have this food if you just do what I want you to do." You can smell the food and you are starving. You decide to accept the food and do whatever that person asks of you. You eat some food and he says, "If you want more, you can have more, but you have to keep doing what I want you to do. You have the food today, but tomorrow you might have not the food, and so you agree to do whatever you can for the food. You can become a slave because of food, because you need the food, because you don't have it. Then, after a certain time, you have a doubts. You say, "What am I going to do without my pizza? I cannot live without my pizza. What if my partner decides to give the pizza to someone else? My pizza?" Now, imagine that instead of food, we are talking about love. You have an abundance of love in your heart. You have love not just for yourself, but for the whole world. You love so much that you don't need anyone's love. You share your love without condition. You don't love it. You are a millionaire in love and someone knocks on your door and says, "Hey, I have love for you here. You can have my love if you just do whatever I want you to do." When you are full of love, what is going to be in your reaction? You will laugh and say, "Thank you, but I don't need your love. I have the same love here in my heart, even bigger and better, and I share my love without the condition." But what if is going to happen if you are starving for love, if you don't have that love in your heart and someone comes and says, "You want a little love? You can have my love if you just do what I want you to do." If you are starving for love and you taste that love, you are going to do whatever you can for that love, and you can even be so needy that you give your whole soul just for a little attention. Your heart is like the magical kitchen. If you open your heart, you already have all the love you need, and there is no need to go around the world begging for love. "Please, someone love me. I'm so lonely. I'm not good enough for love. I need someone to love me and to prove that I'm worthy of love." We have love right here inside us, but we don't see this love. Can you see the drama humans create when they believe that they don't have love? They are starving for love, and when they taste a little love from someone else, and that creates a big need, they become needy and obsessive about that love. Then becomes the big drama. What am I going to do if he leaves me? How can I live without her? They cannot live without the provider and the one who provides them with the everyday doses and for that little pieces of love, because they are starving. They allow other people to control their life. They let others tell them what to do, what not to do, how to dress, how not to dress, how to behave, how not to behave, what to believe and what not to believe. I love you if you behave in this way. I love you if you let me control your life. I love you only if you are good to me. If not, then forget it. The problem with humans is that they don't know They have a magical kitchen and in their heart. All the suffering begins because so long ago we close our heart and we no longer feel the love that is there. At some point in our life, we became afraid to love because we believe that love is not fair. Love hurts. We try to be good enough for someone else. We try to be accepted by someone else, and we failed. We have already had 2 or 3 lovers and a few broken hearts. To love again is to risk too much. Of course, we have some mini self judgments that we cannot possibly have any self love. And if there is no love for ourselves, how can we even pretend that we share love with someone else? When we go into a relationship, we become selfish because we are needy. It's all about me. We are so selfish that we want the person with whom we are sharing our life to be as needy as we are. We want someone who needs me in order to justify our existence, in order to feel that we have a reason to be alive. Within we are searching for love, but we are searching for someone who needs me, someone we can control and manipulate. There is a war of control in human relationships because we were domesticated to compete for the control of attention, what we call love. Someone who needs me, someone who cares about me, is not love. It is selfishness. How can that work? Selfishness does not work because there is no love there. Both people are starving for love in the sex they have. They taste a little love and it becomes addictive because they are starving for love. But then all of the judgments are there. All the fear, all the blame, all the drama. Then we search for advice on love and sex, and so many books are written about it. And just about all these books could be called How to Be Sexually Selfish. The intent is to go, but where is love? They are not about learning to love. There is nothing to learn about love. Everything is already there in our genes, in our nature. We don't have to learn anything except what we invent in this world of illusion. We search for love outside of ourselves, and love is all around us, and love is everywhere, but we don't have the eyes to see. Our emotional body is no longer tuned to love. We are so afraid to love because it is not safe to love. The fear of rejection frightens us. We have to pretend to be what we are not. We try to be accepted by our partner when we don't accept ourselves. But the problem is not that our partner rejects us. The problem is that we reject ourselves because we are not good enough, because that is what we believe. Self-rejection is the main problem. You are never going to be good enough for yourself, and the idea of perfection is completely wrong. It's a false concept. It's not even real, but you believe it. Not being perfect, you reject yourself, and the level of self-rejection depends upon how strong the adults were in breaking your integrity. After domestication, it is no longer about being good enough for anyone else. You are no longer good enough for yourself because the big judge is always there, reminding you that you are not perfect. As I said before, you can never forgive yourself for not being what you wish to be, and that's the real problem. If you can change that, you can take care of your half of the relationship, and the other half is not your problem. If you tell someone you love him and that person says, well, I don't love you, is that a reason for you to suffer? Just because someone rejects you does not mean you have to reject yourself. If one person does not love you, someone else will love you, and there is always someone else. And it's better to be with someone who wants to be with you than to be with someone who has to be with you. You have to focus on the most wonderful relationship you can have, the relationship with yourself. It's not about being selfish. It's about self-love. They are not the same. You are selfish with yourself because there is no love there. You need to love yourself, and the love will grow more and more. And then when you enter a relationship, you don't go into it because you need to be loved. It becomes a choice. You can choose someone if you want to, and you can see who he really is when you don't need his love. You don't have to lie to yourself. You are complete when the love is coming out of you. You are not searching for love because you are afraid to be alone. When you have all that love for yourself, you can be alone. That there is no problem. You are happy to be alone and you share it. The share is also fun. If I like you and we go out together, it is because you want to be jealous. Because I have a need to control you. Or you have the need to control me. If it's going to be that way, it is not fun. If I'm going to be criticized or judged, if I'm going to feel bad, then no, thank you. And if I'm going to suffer, maybe it's bad to be alone. Do people get together to have a drama, to possess each other, to punish each other, to be saved? Is that really why they get together? Of course, we have all those choices, but what are we really looking for? When we are children, 5, 6, 7 years old, we are attracted to other children because we want to play, we want to have him. We don't spend time with another child because we want to fight or have a big drama. That can happen, but it's going to be short-lived. We just keep playing and playing. When we got bored and we changed the game, we changed the rules, but we are exploring all the time. If you go into a partnership to have a drama because you want to be jealous, because you want to be possessive, because you want to control your partner's life, you are not looking for fun. You are looking for pain, and that is what you are going to find. If you go into a relationship with selfishness, accepting that your partner is going to make you happy, it will not happen, and it's not that person's fault. It's your own. When we go into a relationship of any kind, it's because we want to share, we want to enjoy, we want to have fun. We don't want to be bored. If you look for a partner, it is because we want to play. We want to be happy and enjoy what we are. We don't just a partner just to keep the person we claim, to love all of our garbage, to pull all our jealousy, all our anger, all our selfishness onto that person. How can someone tell you I love you and then mistreat you and abuse you, humiliate you and disrespect you? That person may claim to love you, but is it really love? If we love, we want the best for those we love. Why put our garbage onto our own children? Why abuse them because we are full of fear and emotional poison? Why blame our parents for our own garbage? People learn to become selfish and to close their hearts so tightly, and they are starving for love, not knowing that the heart is a magical kitchen. Your heart is a magical kitchen. Open your heart, open your magical kitchen, and refuse to walk around the world begging for love. In your heart is all the love you need, and your heart can create an amount of love, not just for yourself, but for the whole world. You can give your love with no condition. You can be generous with your love because you have a magical kitchen in your heart. Then all the starving people who believe the heart is closed will always want to be near you for your love. And what makes you happy is love coming out of you. And if you are generous with your love, everyone is going to love you. You are never going to be alone if you are generous. If you are selfish, you are always going to be alone, and there is no one to blame but you. Your generosity will open all the doors, not your selfishness. Selfishness comes from poverty in the heart, and from the belief that love is not abundant, we become selfish when we believe that maybe tomorrow we won't have any pizza. But when we know that our heart is a magical kitchen, we are always generous, and our love is completely unconditional.
The Dream Master, every relationship in your life can be healed. Every relationship can be wonderful, but it's always going to begin with you. You need to have the courage to use the truth and to talk to yourself with the truth, to be completely honest with yourself. Perhaps you don't have to be honest with the whole world, but you can be honest with yourself. Perhaps you cannot control what is going to happen around you, but you can control your own reactions. And those reactions are going to guide the dream of your life and your personal dream. It's your reaction to make you so unhappy or make you so happy. Your reaction are the key to having a wonderful life. If you can learn to control your own reaction, then you can change your routine and you can change your life. You are responsible for the consequences of whatever you do, think, say, and feel. Perhaps it's hard for you to see what actions cause the consequence, what emotions, what thoughts, but you can see the consequence because you are suffering the consequence or enjoying the consequence. You control your personal dream by making choices. You have to see if you like the consequence of your choices or not. If it's a consequence you enjoy, then keep doing
what you are doing. Perfect. But if you don't like what is happening in your life, if you are not enjoying your dream, then try to find out what is causing the consequences you don't like. And this is the way to transform your dream. Your life is manifestation of your personal dream. If you can transform the program of your personal dream, you can become a dream of master, a dream master, create a masterpiece of life. But to master the dream is a big challenge because humans become slaves of their own dream, and the way we learn to dream is a setup. With all the belief we have that nothing is possible, it's hard to escape the dream of fear. In order to awake from the dream, you need to master the dream. That is why the Toltec created the mastery of transformation to break free of the old dream and to create a new dream where everything is possible, including escaping from the dream. In the mastery of transformation, the Toltec divided people into dreamers and stalkers. The dreamers know that the dream is an illusion, and they play in that world of illusion. Knowing it's an illusion, the stalkers are like a tiger or a jaguar, stalking every action and reaction. You have to talk to your own reaction, and you have to work with yourself every moment. It takes a lot of time and courage because it's easy to take things personally and react the way you always react, and that leads you to a lot of mistakes, to a lot of suffering and pain because your reaction only generates more emotional poison and increase the drama. If you can control your reactions, you will find that soon you are going to see, meaning to perceive things as they really are, and then normally perceive things as they are. But because of all the programming, all the beliefs we have, and we make interpretations of what we perceive, of what we hear, and mainly of what we see, there is a big difference between seeing the way people see in the dream and seeing without judgment as it is. The difference is in the way your emotional body react to what you perceive. For example, if you are walking on the street and someone who does not know you says, "You are so stupid," and walk away, you can perceive and react to that in many ways. You can accept that what the person said and think, "Yes, I must be stupid," and you can get mad or feel humiliated or simply ignore it. The truth is that this person is dealing with his own emotional poison, and he said that to you because you were the first person to cross his path. It has nothing to do with you, and there is nothing personal there. If you can see that truth the way it is, you do not react. You can say, "Look at that person who is suffering so much," but you don't take it personally. And this is just one example, but it applies to almost everything that happens in every moment. We have a little ego that takes everything personally, that makes us overreact. We don't see what is really happening because we react right away and make it part of our dream. Your reaction comes from a belief that is deep inside you. The way you react has been repeated thousands of times, and it becomes a routine for you, and you are conditioned to be a certain way, and that is the challenge. To change your normal reactions, to change your routine, to take a risk and make different choices. If the consequence is not what you want, change it again and again until you finally get the result you want. I have said that we never choose to have a parasite, which is the judge and the victim and the belief system. If we know we didn't have a choice and we have the awareness that it's nothing but a dream, we recover something very important that we lost, something that religions call free will. Religions say that when humans were created, God gave us free will. This is true, but the dream took it away from us and kept it. Because the dream controlled the will of most humans, there are people who say, "I want to change. I really want to change. There is no reason for me to be so poor. I am intelligent. I deserve to live a good life, to earn much more money than I earn," and they know this, but that is what their mind is telling them. What do these people do? They go and turn the television on and spend hours and hours watching it. Then how strong is their will? Once we have awareness, we have a choice. If we could have that awareness all the time, we could change our routine, change our reaction, and change our entire life. Once we have the awareness, we recover free will. When we recover free will in any moment, we can choose to remember who we are. And then if we forget, we can choose again if we have the awareness. But if we don't have the awareness, we have no choice. Becoming aware is about being responsible of your own life. You are not responsible for what is happening in the world. You are responsible for yourself. You didn't make the world the way it is. The world was already the way it is before you were born. You didn't come here with a great mission to save the world, to change society, but surely you come with a big mission, an important mission. The real mission you have in life is to make yourself happy. And in order to be happy, you have to look at what you believe, the way you judge yourself, and the way you victimize yourself. Be completely honest about your happiness. Don't project a false sense of happiness by telling everyone, look at me, I'm success in life, I have everything I want, I'm so happy, when you don't like yourself. Everything is there for us, but first we need to have the courage to open our eyes, to use the truth, and to see what it really is. Humans are so blind, and they are blind because they don't want to see, and let's look at an example. A young woman meets a man and she feels a strong attraction for him right away, and her hormones go all the way up and she just wants the man. All her girlfriend can see what this man is, and he's on drugs. He's not working, he's got all the traits that make a woman suffer so much, but she sees him, and what does she see? She only sees what she wants to see, but he sees that he is tall, he is handsome, he is strong, he is charming, and she creates an image of the man and tries to deny what she doesn't want to see. She lies to herself, she really wants to believe the relationship will work, and the girlfriends say, but he is on drugs, he is an alcoholic, he is not working. She says, yes, but my love is going to change him. Of course, her mother hates the man, and the father does too. Her parents are worried about her because they can see where she's going. They say, this is not good man for you. And the young woman says, you are telling me what to do? She goes against mom and against dad to follow her hormones, and she lies to herself trying to justify her choices. It's my life and I'm going to do whatever I want to do. And months later, the relationship brings her back to reality. The truth starts coming up, and she blames the man for what she didn't want to see before. And there is no respect, there is a lot of abuse, and but now her pride is more important. And how can she go back home when mom and dad were right? And that will only give them satisfaction. How long will it take for this woman to learn the lesson? How much does she love herself? What is the limit of her self-abuse? All that suffering occurs because we don't want to see when it is so clear before our eyes. Even when we meet someone and he tries to pretend to be the best he can, even with that false mask, he cannot avoid presenting the lack of love, the lack of respect he has. But we don't want to see it, and we don't want to hear. That is why an ancient prophet once said, there is no worse blind man than the one who does not want to see, and there is no worse deaf man than the one who does not want to hear, and there is no worse madman than the one who does not want to understand. We are so blind, we really are. We pay for that. But if we open our eyes and see life as it is, we can avoid a lot of emotional pain. It doesn't mean we don't take a risk. We are alive and we need to take a risk. And if we fail, so what? Who cares? It doesn't matter. We learn and we move on without judgment. We don't need to judge. We don't need to blame or feel guilt. We just need to accept our truth and intend a new beginning. If we can see ourselves the way we are, that is the first step towards self-acceptance and towards stopping of self-rejection. Once we are able to accept ourselves just the way we are, everything can start changing from that point forward. Everyone has a price, and life respects that price. But the price is not measured in dollar or in gold, it is measured in love. More than that, it is measured in self-love. How much you love yourself, that is your price, and love respect the price. And when you love yourself, your price is very high, which means your tolerance of self-abuse is very low. It's a very low because you respect yourself. You like yourself the way you are, and this makes your price higher. And if you don't like the things about yourself, the price is a little lower. Sometimes the self-judgment is so strong that people need to be numb just to be with themselves. If you don't like a person, you can walk away from the person. If you don't like a group of people, you can walk away from those people. But if you don't like yourself, it doesn't matter where you go, you are right there. To avoid being with yourself, you need to take something to numb you and to take your mind away from yourself. Perhaps some alcohol is going to help, perhaps some drugs will help, perhaps eating, just eat, and the self abuse can get much worse. There are people who really feel self hatred, they are self destructive, killing themselves little by little because they don't have the courage to kill themselves fast. If you observe self-destructive people, you will see they attract people just like them. What do we do if we don't like ourselves? We try to get numb with alcohol to forget our suffering, and that's the excuse we use where we are going to get alcohol. We go to the bar to drink, and guess who is going to be there? People just like us, who try to avoid themselves also, who also try to get numb together. We start talking about our suffering and we understand each other very well. We even start to enjoy it. We understand each other perfectly because we vibrate in the same frequency. We are both being self-destructive, and then I hurt you, you hurt me. A perfect relationship in hell. And what happens when you change? For whatever reason, you no longer need the alcohol. It's okay now to be with yourself and you really enjoy it. You no longer drink, but you have the same friends and everyone's drinking. They get numb, they start getting happier, but you can clearly see that their happiness is not real. What they call happiness is the rebellion against their own emotional pain. In that happiness, they are so hurt that they have fun hurting other people and hurt themselves. You no longer fit in, and of course they reason you because you are no longer like them. Hey, you are rejecting me because you no longer dream with me, because you don't get high with me, and now you have to make a choice. You can step back, or you can go to another level of frequency and meet people who finally accept themselves like you do. You'll find there is another realm of reality, a new way of relationship, and you no longer accept certain kinds of abuse.